problems based on nature of roots of a quadratic equation. So here QE stands for the quadratic equation. So we are going to discuss about few problems. So let us perform few problems based upon the nature of the roots of the quadratic equation in case of an advanced level. So here already we discussed about we are familiar with the nature of the roots. Nature of the roots of a quadratic equation depends upon the discriminant value, that is delta, which is nothing but given by means of b square minus 4ac. So here if delta or d is greater than 0, so that is, so discriminant d is given by means of b square minus 4ac. If it is greater than 0, then the roots are real and distinct, that is different. So in this case, so here we are discussing about the case number 1. So in this regard, so here first one, that is A, if the discriminant value, so here if D is a perfect square, if D, that is the discriminant value, is a perfect square, then roots are real, unequal and rational. So this is the nature of a root when discriminant value is a perfect square of particular quadratic equation. So roots will be real, unequal and as well as rational if D is a perfect square. Then now here the second one, that is B, if in case if D is not a perfect square, then roots are real, unequal and irrational. So here in this case, if the discriminant value, that is D, b square minus 4ac value, is not a perfect square, then the roots will be real, unequal and irrational. Then now the second case, that is case number 2, if delta or discriminant value, if it is equal to 0, so that is if b square minus 4ac, delta or discriminant is given by means of b square minus 4ac is equals to 0. So here then the roots will be of, then the roots are of real and equal. So in this regard, when discriminant is exactly equals to 0, that means b square minus 4ac is exactly equal to 0, then the roots will be of real and equal. And the third case, if discriminant value, that is D, is less than 0, so that is b square minus 4ac if it is less than 0, then the roots will be of, roots are just imaginary, or in other words, say imaginary, other words, so it will be called as the complex. They are of complex roots if the discriminant value is less than 0. So under this, let us perform. Say here example, so here we have to find out or examine the nature of the roots of the given quadratic equation. So here we have to find out the nature of the roots of the following, that is the given quadratic equations. Number 1 is of x square minus 6x minus 2 equals to 0. So here the solution starts now. As per the problem, the given quadratic equation is of, that is x square minus 6x minus 2 is equals to 0 is the given quadratic equation. But that implies, so it is in the form of a quadratic equation. So here gen form of a quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0, which is nothing but the gen form, general form of quadratic equation. So here by comparing, so here we can write it as, by comparing the coefficients and as well as the constants. So here a is the coefficient of x square, whereas coefficient of x square is of 1. So we can write a value as this 1, and x coefficient is of b, and here x coefficient is of minus 6. So b must be replaced by means of minus 6. So c is the constant, real constant. So real constant value is of minus 2. So c is equals to minus 2. But we know that. So here by comparing, we got a as 1 and b as minus 6 and c as minus 2. But we know that discriminant, that is delta, is given by means of b square minus 4ac. So here we have to find out the discriminant value in order to find out the nature of the roots. So b is of minus 6. So minus 6 whole square minus 4 into a is of 1 into c is of minus 2 again. So that must be written within the brackets. So that implies minus 6 whole square, minus must be repeatedly multiplied twice, minus of minus is plus, 6 square, 6 into 6 is of 36, but here of minus is of plus, 4 ones is of 4, 4 into 2 is of 8. So here both are of positive symbols, so plus of plus is plus. In order to simplify further, so we have to add up 36 plus 8, 8 plus 6 is of 14, carry 1, so here 3 plus 1 is of 4, that is 36 plus 8 is of 44 with positive sign. But it is not a perfect square, so here it is not a PS. So PS indicates perfect square. So here PS states the perfect square. So hereby we use as the perfect square in the problems, that is, so here delta is of 44, so which is not a perfect square. Now that implies, so discriminant is equals to 44, which is not a perfect square, but it is greater than 0. So therefore, so here discriminant, that is delta, b square minus 4ac is greater than 0. So here since b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, since b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, hence the roots are real, unequal and irrational. So here the irrational comes here because it is not a perfect square. So here 44 is not a perfect square. So here we will be getting it as irrational. So here hence the roots are of real, unequal and irrational. Then now